We have all seen the classic image of the entrepreneur. It is late at night, the office is dark, except for a single desk lamp, and there is one person sitting there, drinking cold coffee, doing the accounting, responding to customer emails, and trying to figure out a marketing strategy. We romanticize this. We call it the grind, the hustle, the mark of a true visionary. But what if this romantic image is actually a trap? What if the belief that you have to do everything yourself is the exact thing keeping your business small?
It is absolutely a trap. We have built this cultural myth around the solitary founder wearing every single hat, as if asking for help or outsourcing is a confession of weakness. But when you look at the actual mathematics of running a business alone, the numbers just do not add up. You only have 24 hours in a day, and your energy is a finite resource. If your business relies entirely on your personal bandwidth, then the business can only ever grow as large as your personal energy reserves permit. You hit what we call the soloist ceiling, and no matter how hard you work, you simply cannot break through it alone.
That term, the soloist ceiling, really visualizes the problem. It is like trying to build a skyscraper, but you are the only bricklayer, the architect, and the crane operator. Eventually, you just run out of height. But when founders find themselves stuck under this ceiling, they usually point to one specific culprit. They say, if I just had more capital, if I could just get a loan or an investor, everything would change. Is money really the magic solution here?
Rarely. If you look at the mechanics of why a business stalls, capital is almost never the root issue. Think of money like fuel. If your engine is broken or disconnected from the wheels, dumping more fuel into the tank does not make the car move. The real bottlenecks for most independent businesses are a lack of market visibility and deep isolation from active networks. If customers do not know you exist, or if you do not have the relationships to access larger markets, that capital is going to get trapped long before it ever reaches your bottom line. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking. Every week you spend trying to do everything in isolation. Your competitors are out there building alliances, standardizing systems, and capturing the market.
So working harder is actually a flawed strategy because it does not change the underlying structure of how you operate. If the old model of the isolated hero is broken, what does the alternative look like? How do the fastest growing companies bypass this ceiling?
They operate on a completely different premise. Instead of sitting back and hoping the market discovers them through sheer luck or endless cold calling, they build an ecosystem. They construct an interconnected web of relationships and partnerships long before they actually need them. This is the exact philosophy behind initiatives like the Umbrella Management Group Partnership Hub, especially for entrepreneurs in developing markets like Liberia. Instead of a bunch of isolated islands competing for the same drop of water, it is about connecting those islands under one collaborative umbrella. You integrate your business into a network where you gain immediate visibility through trusted, verified connections.
That sounds great in theory, but let us get practical. When a small business joins a network like this, they are not just looking for a passive directory where their name sits on page 50 of a PDF. How does this ecosystem actually drive business to them without them having to chase down every single lead?
It comes down to peer-to-peer referral and collective scale. In a passive directory, you are still alone, just listed next to others. In an active hub, you are vetted and recommended by your peers. When a client approaches the network looking for a service, they are directed to verified professionals within the ecosystem. It shifts the dynamic from outbound hunting to inbound matching. More importantly, it allows smaller businesses to pool their resources. If a massive contract comes along that is too big for any single business to handle, they do not have to walk away. They can split the work, collaborate with other members of the hub, and execute it together.
I want to focus on that word you used, vetted. You mentioned that visibility is crucial, but visibility without credibility is essentially useless. You can spend thousands on advertising to get people to look at your business, but if they do not trust you, they will not buy. How does a structured network establish that trust?
Trust is the ultimate competitive advantage, especially in crowded or volatile markets where everyone claims to be the best. In a structured network like the UMG Hub, Every business is thoroughly reviewed and verified to meet high professional standards before they are even allowed entry. This vetting process completely changes the buying decision for the client. When a client hires someone from the hub, they are not taking a gamble on an unknown entity. They are paying for the certainty of a verified professional. That confidence removes the risk, making the network's members the obvious, safe choice. It turns trust into a highly profitable asset.
It is like shifting the burden of proof from the individual business to the collective network. But let us talk about the internal dynamics of this. If I am a business owner, and I have spent years viewing every other founder in my space as a competitor, it is going to feel very counterintuitive to start sharing contracts and collaborating. How do you get founders to make that mental shift from competition to cooperation?
It requires rewriting the rules of the local market, and you do that by aligning incentives. Let us say you land a major contract, but the scope is simply too large for your current team. If you try to do it alone, you risk failing and damaging your reputation. If you reject it, you get nothing. But if you tap into the hub, find 2 qualified members, and split the work, you execute it successfully, keep the client happy, and build your portfolio. To make this sustainable, the system incorporates mechanisms like referral fees. If you refer work to another member, you are compensated. Capital circulates within the community. Suddenly, you stop seeing other founders as threats and start seeing them as strategic partners. When they win, you win.
It sounds like it also requires a shift in how founders plan for the future. I imagine there is a big difference in the daily decisions of a founder who is just trying to survive the month versus one who is building for the next decade.
Absolutely. The average business is entirely reactive. The daily question is, how do I make money today to pay the bills tomorrow? But a scaling business is intentional. The question becomes, how do I create structural value this year? Those small, intentional choices, choosing to vet a partner today, standardizing a system tomorrow, increasing your visibility the next day, they compound over time. They stack up to build a resilient operation. Your business will ultimately only grow as tall as your inner circle. The caliber of the people you surround yourself with dictates your absolute limit for growth. Joining a vetted network might stabilize your cash flow today, but its real value is building the structural foundation that ensures you are still thriving 10 years from now.
If we zoom out to a macro level, we often hear this narrative that developing economies, like Liberia's, just need more businesses to fix the economy. The idea is that more startups equal more growth. But based on what we are discussing, volume alone is not the answer, is it?
Not at all. A high volume of isolated, struggling soloists does not build a stable economy. It just creates a highly fragmented market of micro-businesses that are constantly vulnerable to the slightest economic shock. What Liberia and similar markets need is a higher quality of businesses. We need operations that are built to collaborate, honor their promises, and scale beyond the limits of a single founder. When these businesses collaborate and grow into sustainable organizations, they do not just survive, they hire more staff, they support local families, and they contribute to long-term economic stability. Stronger, interconnected businesses build a stronger nation.
It really redefines the whole concept of entrepreneurship. It is not about the lonely struggle of the individual. It is about the strength of the network you build around yourself. If you are listening to this and realizing that you have been hitting your head against that soloist ceiling, maybe it is time to stop grinding in isolation and start looking for your umbrella. Thank you for sharing these insights today.
It was a pleasure. The future belongs to those who collaborate.